It's great to be back with you again today, and I'm very happy to be here, not only as your congressman, but as your candidate to be the next governor of the state of Maine as well. Your endorsement does mean so much for me. Over the last couple of years, we've been through tough times here in Maine and all across the country. Before I get into how hard it's been, I also want to talk and celebrate one of the high points of the past year. And I mentioned it last night as well. But I want to congratulate Local 207, the Maine's Lobstermen Union, for your success. Even the New York Times is paying attention to you as well, so that's great news. And at a time when unions are under attack, Local 207 shows us that unions are still strong, they are alive and well, and working men and women can form and get things done. So I want to thank you, Local 207, for your efforts in showing us, and congratulate you once again for those efforts. Standing here today, I know I'm among friends, many friends that I've known for a long time. We've worked together for many years to increase the minimum wage, to protect workers and their pensions, to create job opportunities here in the state of Maine, and to take care of our neighbors who need help. That's one of the issues when you look at what's happening in Maine over the years with mill closures, layoffs. It's our union brothers and sisters that pool together to help one another, whether it's providing food, providing wood to help heat for the winter. It's our union brothers and sisters. You made a difference to a lot of your brothers and sisters who are in need. It's those fights and those lessons that I've learned having punched the time clock at Great Northern Paper Company for over 29 years in East Millinocket. And that's that same type of work ethic and what I learned during those 29 years at Great Northern that I will carry with me to the Blaine House in Augusta as well after next year. We've been through a lot, as I mentioned, over the years, and we're dealing with some of the very tough times, not only here in Maine, as I mentioned, but all across the country. Mainers are working harder and harder for less and less. I've seen it throughout this whole state of ours, and union workers are taking a hit, not only here in Maine, but all across the country, from anti-worker governors and from a Congress on the House side who's definitely anti-workers. And right now, we have a governor in Maine who continues to make national news by bullying hard-working people here in the state of Maine. Maine people definitely do deserve a governor who will lift them up and bring them to where they want to be in their lives, not keep putting them down. It's time that we have a governor also that will get his facts straight. And I know that Maine workers like all of you here in this room, are some of the hardest working people in the country and in the world. And it's important to have a governor that can be proud of the people here in the state of Maine, unlike the current governor we currently have. And I will assure you that as your governor, I will be promoting Maine workers, Maine's work ethic, not only here in the state of Maine, but throughout the country, because I am very proud of all of you. We definitely do have our best days ahead of us here in Maine. There's a lot of opportunities for us in Maine to grow, not only with our current manufacturing base, but other opportunities as well. Just this week, I was touring a Falcon footwear in Auburn with the commissioner of the Boston Fire Department. They make Maine-made fire boots in Auburn. Like all of us in this room, Falcon knows that they are good workers there in Maine. They make a quality product here in the state of Maine. And there's no better place to make boots in Maine that says American-made a product here in Maine. And that is why in a couple of months, actually, Falcon products will be made in the USA from all their materials will be here made in the USA. And we can be very proud of Made in America, and we have to be very proud of that. Actually, 2 years ago, Boston purchased over 1,625 pairs of Falcon boots. And the commissioner of the Boston Fire Department, which he and I toured the facility this past week, has agreed to continuing purchasing Maine-made boots because he knows that he can't find a better boot anywhere, and he wants to make sure that his firefighters are properly equipped with Maine-made boots. So I'm very glad to see that Boston commissioner was going to be purchasing Maine-made boots for his firefighters. Of course, it also helps that the commissioner is also from East Millinocket originally. But we have a lot, and when you look at some of the stuff that's happened here in Maine, I know I see John Patrick here, who's always been a strong advocate for working families here in Maine. But what we have currently in a Blaine House is a governor who has vetoed increase in minimum wage, gutted the state workers' pension fund, and vetoed the Buy American bill. In fact, if you look at the candidates running for governor, I am the only candidate running for governor right now that would have signed the Buy American bill into law. Yes. As you know, that bill would have supported American-made companies, American workers all across this country. It's common sense legislation that's good for our economy, good for our communities, and good for this country. There is no reason why the governor should have vetoed that legislation. And there's definitely no reason why the legislature should not have overridden that veto anyway. Buy American, the bill, is so important if we're going to keep our economy here in Maine and in this country. And as a lot of you know, and I've talked to you earlier last evening, unfortunately we're dealing with those same issues at the federal level. And when you look at the Trans-Pacific Trade Partnership Agreement, we'll be dealing with fast-track legislation coming soon. So there's a lot of areas that we still have to be cognizant of as union members here in Maine and all across the country to make sure that we're there letting our elected officials know where we want them to be on certain issues important to the working families. Another missed opportunity right now that's hurting Maine people and Maine businesses is the fact that Governor LePage failed to expand access to health care under the Affordable Care Act. If elected governor, the first thing I will do as governor, I'll be submitting legislation that will cover the 70,000 people under the Affordable Care Act to make sure that they have health care coverage. 3,000 of those are veterans. And what's ironic is the fact that not only is it the morally right thing to do to expand access to health care, but it's also the fiscally responsible thing as well, because of the enhanced reimbursement rate under the Affordable Care Act that I held out for so long until we got it in at the last minute. Maine will save over $600 million over a 10-year time frame. It's economic sense, it's morally right, and that's one thing I'll definitely do when I first get elected governor of the state of Maine. I know we've been through a lot together, as I mentioned earlier, and we've had some good issues that we're able to win on, but there's so much more that we have to do. And I know that we can move this state forward and create an economy that works for everyone, an economy that we don't have to worry whether an individual has money to put food on the table, whether they can buy their medicine and put oil in their tank to keep themselves warm. We need to build this economy for the middle class, putting Mainers back to work. And I know that we can do it. But I can't do it without your help. I need each and every one of you here in this room to get out and work this election cycle like you did when I first ran for Congress in 2002. At that point in time, there were a lot of naysayers saying that there's no way a mill worker can get elected to Congress. We proved them wrong back then. And I know with your endorsement here today and your efforts, we can prove them wrong once again. Yes, the polls have me in the lead in the three-way race. But polls are only a snapshot in time. The only poll that really matters will be the poll on Election Day. And we have a lot of work to do, not only for governor, but also to focus on the congressional race, and then someone to replace me, as well as the U.S. Senate race here in Maine, and the legislative races as well. There is a lot of work that we have to do over the next year. And I'm asking each and every one of you not to give up, to think of your brothers and sisters that were there before you and all that they have done fighting for the rights that we have earned through the legislative process. And if we're going to make the next governor of the state of Maine be a card-carrying union member, then I need each and every one of you to get out there and work extremely hard like you did during my first race. I know what it's like to punch a time clock. And every day when I went to work at Great Northern Paper Company, and I punched my time card in that time clock, I knew then that it was time to go to work. I've already punched my time clock in for my race for governor of the state of Maine. I am ready to go to work, and I'm asking each and every one of you to punch your time clock in now on this next race for governor in the state of Maine. And I encourage you to get out there, get your friends and family, fellow brothers and sisters, to really work hard. It's going to take all of us working together. And we will move Maine forward. We'll move Maine forward in the right direction. We'll move Maine forward with a governor who's proud of the workers here in the state of Maine, with a governor who's willing to do what we can to make sure that everyone has a fair chance to earn a wage that they can live on, with a governor who's not afraid to make sure that we invest not only in our infrastructure with roads, bridges, and buildings, but also our human infrastructure, an educational system that we all can be proud of here in the state of Maine, to give our children and our grandchildren the educational opportunities that they need and should have to help themselves up. So with that, brothers and sisters, I want to thank you very much once again for your endorsement. I'm ready to go to work. I need you to go to work. I want you to go to work, and we'll move Maine forward in the right direction in 2014. Thanks very much.